Hello, it's Lucy and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorites, Puerto Rican cheese balls. Now, everybody has their own version of cheese balls. I would assume that the reason we call ours Puerto Rican cheese balls because of the type of cheeses that we use. We love our Gouda and we love our queso de papa, and those are going to be the two cheeses that I'm going to be using to make my cheese balls. Now, it's really easy and simple. I have my breadcrumbs here. These are seasoned breadcrumbs. I have 1 egg. I have 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I have some cayenne pepper, which I'll only be sprinkling a little bit because this can be very strong. And of course, about 2 ounces shy of a pound of cheese that I will be grating. Now, normally I would use a food processor, right? But I don't like using food processors for cheese unless it's gonna be like a big old batch, because it's just, I don't feel like it. It's too much to clean and I'm just not in the mood to do that. So I'm gonna be using the good old trusty grater, and I'm gonna be using the smallest grate on my grater. And I'm gonna be grating it right here in the very bowl that I'll be mixing everything together. Ooh, those chickens and roosters are really going at it this morning. And I sat my bowl on a wet dish towel so that it wouldn't slide. And of course, I'll be making them and frying them here in my trusty induction cooker that I have with me here today. Now, I'm gonna be using my gloves because anytime I grate anything, I like putting on my gloves. And so, every time you go to the supermarkets here in Puerto Rico, you'll always see cheese balls right next to the chicken cordon bleu. It's almost like they're brother and sister. And they're made in the supermarket. Like, they're not, you know, some type of brand. They're like actually made there, and then they are sold like that. But they're very expensive, and I always figure, why buy them? You only get 12 and they're like $8, people. So I just make my own. And you can add anything you want to these. You can add some jalapenos to them. You can get really creative and put some little diced up pepperoni. But today is Thursday, and on Thursday I have Café con Oraciones, which is my coffee circle and prayers. And so I'm not sure if I'll make this a thing on Thursdays. You may be seeing this video on Friday, but it depends on what I'll be making to see if it's something that I actually, you know, find worthy of putting on YouTube. Because sometimes I just don't have time and I'll just grab some cookies and call it a day. But here I go. This one here is my queso de papa, which is like a yellow cheddar. And I'm just gonna go ahead and grate this as such right into my bowl. Make sure that's the grate that I want. And I kept this in the fridge. So try to keep your cheese in the fridge until the very last minute, because there's nothing worse than trying to grate cheese that's soft, because it just isn't fun, right? And the other thing is, grate your own cheese. Like, don't try to make it extra easy on yourself and buy the packaged cheese that is already grated, because those cheeses have a coating on them to keep them from caking in the package. And so that kind of interferes with the melting. Although they're good for casseroles and whatnot, but for something like this, you want to grate your own. And so, while I'm grating this, let's talk about what happened on October, November, December that I keep mentioning in my other videos. So basically, I came back home from Boston, and I was all excited, you know, because here it is, it's the holidays. And really, a lot of people find the holidays, you know, stressful. I don't. It's the time where I just unwind, I do my baking, my decorating, and what have you, and it really puts me at peace. So I was all excited. I got home, and due to the temperature change, which always happens, I ended up getting sick for just a few days. But after that, I was ready to go. I had all these little projects that I wanted to make and whatnot. And so here it is, the first week of October, I believe. And I say to my husband, Mick, let's go and grab all of our decorations out of what I call the black hole. We have this room all the way at the end of the house that still needs to be remodeled. But in the meantime, we kept or keep still a lot of our things in there that we don't use. A lot of drums from when I moved from the States to Puerto Rico are in there. And some of my kids' stuff as well. So he goes over there, you know, I'm in the kitchen cooking. And he comes back and he says, Lucy, we got a problem. And I'm like, what? And he says, freaking mites. Yes, I said termites. Oh my God. Now, you know, living here, termites can be an issue, especially in Arroyo, because termites love mango trees, they love breadfruit trees, they love guanabana trees, and we have all of those. We have all of those. And so that back room got infested with termites. I don't know how. We keep an eye, well, I do know how, right? But we keep a good eye on it. We try to exterminate as much as we possibly can to keep that from happening, because, you know, you can lose furniture behind some termites. Like, my house is concrete, so nothing will particularly happen to my house. But if you have any wooden furniture, if you have your kitchen cabinets, oh yeah, havoc of the worst expensive kind. So, you know, we went from being all excited about decorating for the holidays to having to fight with these termites. So we tented that back room and we just went at it. Oh my God. I lost literally 50% of what was in there. I had to throw it out because either I didn't want to deal with it or it was just destroyed by the termites. And that took literally a month. My house looked like a tornado hit it for like a whole month. I was so upset. So of course we dealt with that. And then after that, you know, Fiona had happened before I went to the States. Actually, the day that I was flying out, she was supposed to hit. And she did. And when I came back, it was just raining. Like, Arroyo is normally like a droughty, is that even a word, droughty, right? It's drought. It really doesn't rain a lot here in Arroyo. But we got rain. It seemed like 2 to 3 weeks straight in a row. And I'm not talking about a little bit of rain. I'm talking about cats and dogs type of rain, which is probably why these termites were very active, right? And so, whoo, that's a workout. And I still got this half to go, but here we go. So after we dealt with that, I still was able to decorate a little bit for Halloween, which was fine. And like I said, since Fiona happened in Puerto Rico, if you don't know, the electricity likes to go out on a regular basis. It's really annoying. We're looking into getting solar because it's just a bit too much after a while. But here I am, we sit in the kitchen and the lights go off. And then they come right back on. And I guess, what do you call it? The short circuit, or it was too much current at one hit. You see that microwave right there? That's aesthetics. Now it doesn't work. It literally just messed my microwave up. I was so upset. You have no idea. I was like, what in the what? So we're gonna have to deal with that. I'm gonna be taking that down and just putting a vent. Because, I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with that microwave, right? Aesthetically, it looks nice, but it's really, you know, above the stove, I don't recommend it because it's a lot to clean. You're constantly cleaning. If you have OCD like I do, you're constantly cleaning that like once, twice, 3 times a day. It's a lot. So in a way, I'm glad that I won't be having a microwave above my stove, but of course I'm upset because it's an expensive microwave, and you know, that just shouldn't have happened. It's probably my own fault. I should have had one of those circuit protectors for appliances for it, and I didn't. But you know, shit happens, right? Excuse my language. And so that was the other thing that happened. So let me pause on that story for a minute. So now that I have all of my cheese grated as such, see, with the smaller grade, your cheese will look like this. I'm gonna kind of mix it with my hand so we have an even distribution within this little cheese masa, if you will, of both of my cheeses that I'm using here. And so to that, I'm going to be adding my egg. So you have 1 egg here that's gonna go right into that mixture. And I'm gonna go ahead, because since I have the gloves, I'm up here putting cheese all over my counter. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that cheese in. Just like so, and it's gonna look doughy. So, you know, you could use a food processor like I was saying, but you know, if you use your hand, it's just as good. I mean, save yourself some time. Only if you're making like huge batches for like a big party where you're gonna be serving these as hors d'oeuvres, would I suggest using, you know, the food processor. And then here we have the 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm gonna add that, and I'm gonna again mix this with my hands. I like using the cornstarch because unlike flour, cornstarch really doesn't allow the grease to soak in. You know how sometimes you fry appetizers, certain things, depending on what it is and how long it takes to fry, it can get soggy with the oil, and that's not very tasty. But I find that cornstarch doesn't really allow that to happen as much, and it's a crispier consistency as well. So here we have our little dough. You know, I said I was going to put some cayenne pepper, and I didn't, but it's never too late. We'll just add a little bit, just a little bit. You know, cayenne pepper can be very spicy, and my ladies at my Café con Oraciones may not care for that kick of spice, so I know a lot of them don't, but I mean, I like it a little bit. They may not notice it. So here we have it. So here's our little cheese dough. You see? The consistency of that is literally like a dough. Put all these little, my counter is clean, so yeah, I'm gonna pick up all these tidbits here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put this back here. And you wanna make cheese balls the size of maybe like a teaspoon, and we're gonna then roll them in this breadcrumb that we have here. And then we're gonna be frying them. So here I have my plate that I'll be putting my little cheese balls in. So we're gonna go like this and just roll those bad boys. See, they roll so nice and easily. And I'm gonna go ahead and just coat them. And like that, it's not gonna be a thick coat, but it'll give it a little coating just like that, you see? And so I'm gonna continue to do that for all of my little cheese balls, try to keep it all the same size. So as I was saying, we went from the microwave and the termites in that back room, our storage room, right? And as if that wasn't enough, here's November, and you know, Thanksgiving's on its way. Thank God that I pre-order half of my food that I'm gonna be serving in on Thanksgiving, because you know, it just makes it easy. I want to spend more time with my guests instead of in the kitchen cooking. But we normally start one day before, like everybody else does, you know, especially when you're hosting Thanksgiving. And so it's funny. I'm sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I mean, I'm watching a movie with my husband, and out of nowhere, I just get up and say, let me check the bottom of my kitchen cabinet where the sink is, right? Because sometimes it's so humid here in Puerto Rico that sometimes you need to go into your cabinets, make sure that mold isn't growing. And so because of that, I've invested in some dehumidifiers that have been like a godsend. Let me tell you, that's really helped. With the heat in the house, it's not as bad, and of course with the mold, that can really also cause havoc on its own. So I get up, I go into the bottom cabinet, and I start taking out some of the cleaning solutions that I have in there. And I look in the back and I'm like, what? Tell me it isn't so. I said, Mickey, get over here. So he comes into the kitchen and he's like, what? I'm like, Mickey, we have a problem. Termites have invaded our cabinets. Yes, they did. And so, to make a long story short, we were up until 2:30 the next morning, okay? 2:30 in the morning, ripping out 2 cabinets that were destroyed. Just like that, I mean, with a quickness with these termites. It was my sink cabinet and under cabinet, and it was my cabinet next to it, to the right where I keep my pots and pans and my spice drawer. Oh my God. And then we had to clean it, and then we had to go in there and tent that and empty out, you know, a lot of what was in the kitchen and start fumigating. It was a lot, people. I was exhausted. My husband was exhausted. And like I tell you, we didn't get to bed till 2:30. And you know what the next day was? Thanksgiving. I didn't have any time to do some of my dishes beforehand, have them ready so I could just put them in the oven. I had about an hour to two hours of sleep. I was back up around, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock to get into that kitchen and make some of the things. Thank God I did, you know, order some of my food that I didn't have to prepare. But oh my God, it was horrible. It was horrible. So what can I say? We lost 2 cabinets, and we'll have to special order them, and that's going to take a minute to come. And then, you know, I had to make curtains for them. Didn't like what the curtain looks like, but I had no choice. So I went on and I did my Thanksgiving dinner. After everybody left, my parents were still here. My mom was still here. Oh my God, I was in the living room. It was hot up in here. And I was just watching TV, and my body was so exhausted. I mean, it had been nonstop since October that my body checked out. It was like, look, you exhausted, and if you don't stop, we're gonna stop you. I laid back on my sofa to watch some TV, some Christmas movies on Thanksgiving night, and that was all she wrote. I spiked up a fever. My body, it wasn't COVID. I was just, you know, when you get exhausted, your body will just say, nope, we're not doing this. You're going to sit your behind down and you're going to rest. And I was sick. I mean, every muscle and bone in my body hurt. I was out of it for a good 3 days. It took me a little longer than that to start feeling like myself again. But I tell you, and as if that wasn't enough, because we got all kinds of issues here. Because we have such hard water, I also lost, I had to replace, I'm sorry, it's hot. I had to replace my kitchen faucet and my bathroom faucet. So that's how the ending of last year was. So, I mean, it's only up from here, right? It's only up from there, that's for sure. But I was more pleased on how I handled it all. I just said, you know what, this was bound to happen. These are the stories that I've always heard about these damn termites. You know, lucky we just walked away with just 2 cabinets being destroyed. And, you know, yeah, I lost some stuff from my storage, but what you gonna do? It's okay. I'm here. It's a new year. It's a new day. We're good. So we're gonna keep on rolling these balls. This is what the balls look like, all rolled up. And then I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna turn this induction cooktop on, and we're going to start frying these delicious little cheese balls. So I'll be right back. So I finished rolling out all of my cheese balls. I ended up with about 36 cheese balls. And see if I can bring them to you so you can see them. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fry them until they're browned on both sides. I got my trusty plate here with my towel and my tongs, and just waiting for this oil to heat up so we can start frying them. So here we are, my oil is ready, and so I'm ready to put my cheese balls in there. Don't put too many, you don't want to crowd the skillet, but just a few. And don't be too quick to turn them around because they'll get sticky and you're not going to be happy if that happens. Listen to your food. It'll let you know when it's time to turn it around. I always fry one once I feel like the oil is ready to make sure that, as you can see here, so I know that it's okay for me to go ahead and fry my little cheese balls here. So it's coming out, and it's very quick. You gotta make sure you do this really quick because if not, you can burn them, and you don't want to do that. Here we are. Just take them out real quick. Just put them in a lined paper plate with paper towels. There we go. See, they're coming out so nicely. So here they are. They're all fried up. See, as you can see them. They look so good. I was hoping I'd be able to show you how they fry up in the skillet by an overview shot, but unfortunately they were going so quickly that I didn't have time to switch my camera. But you, if you're a cook, you know how it goes. So these are so delicious. They taste so good. You're nice and gooey on the inside. Look at that. They're so good. So the queso de papa and the bulldog cheese, great combination for these. I'm sure that the ladies will like them this afternoon when I take them. You can freeze these as well. Just put them in a plastic container or a glass container, whatever is your preference. Put plastic Reynolds wrap or whatever plastic wrap you have, and then follow it with an aluminum foil on top, and then freeze them because you don't want them to get freezer burn. And they last for a few weeks in the freezer, and they're delicious to just take them out, thaw them out. Sometimes you don't even need to thaw them out if you're going to use, the oven, or you're going to put them in the air fryer and air fry them for like a quick 5 minutes, and they are as if you made them the same day. They are so delicious. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you try these Puerto Rican cheese balls out. They're delicious. They make a great appetizer. And what I mean to say about my story and drama that happened at the end of last year is, you never know when Murphy's Law is going to bear her ugly head. And when she does, take it in stride. If you're alive, then you're doing well. And just have a cheese ball. Until the next time, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And God bless.